Good morning, guys. Today we are talking about the four most dangerous words in real estate. We will wait. We're going to unpack it this morning. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Billy. How you going?
Good. How often do we hear this? We'll just wait. That's our plan. That's what we're doing.
We'll wait. We'll wait. We hear it a lot. We hear it a lot. And I'll be honest, they are the words that a real estate agent, the best analogy when we hear those words, we will wait, is it's almost like watching a car crash happen in slow motion.
Yep. And I do want to preface, not because we urgently want the sale. It's like, take whatever you can get, just take the cheapest offer. No, that's not the case. It's like, we'll just wait means that's our strategy to getting a better result in 6 or 8 or 12 weeks.
Definitely. I'm going to say something that any seller watching is going to, it's probably going to make the hairs on the back of their neck stand up. The first offer is often the best offer. And that's the truth. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, Billy, about the golden weeks. So the first week is the golden week. Already by the time we're hitting week 2 of a campaign, things are already starting to cool off. You can feel it. You feel it in the buyer numbers. You feel it in where the offers are at. So when a vendor says, oh, that was the first offer, I think we're just going to wait. It's not a real estate agent's job to shove that offer down a vendor's throat. But certainly in a market that we are in at the moment, and make no mistake, guys, this is an extremely turbulent market. There is a lot going on right now. We've had interest rate hikes that no one saw coming. We've got a budget this evening. And I think everyone's just had enough of hearing about the budget. There's so much speculation about it. But the reality is it's probably, there's probably going to be some punches to the stomach there in real estate, is what it is. Is unfortunately there's not a huge amount that we can do to change whatever it is that's delivered tonight. But vendors need to listen. They need to listen to where the offers are at, and they need to listen to the advice of their real estate agent. As you said, Billy, as real estate agents, we're not here for quick sales. We're here to get you the most amount out of the market. And let's be totally real and brutally honest. We work on commission.
Yep.
The more money we get for you, the more money we get. We work on commission.
Yeah, it comes down to strategy, and waiting often means the campaign does go stale. The average is about 3 weeks, and then it starts to taper off. We see that measured really well with open home numbers and online audience, with people clicking into the listing and viewing. And at that time, of course, throughout a 3-week campaign, there's more properties coming on the market. So you're suppressed by new property that automatically filters at the top first.
And not only that, but, look, a stale listing actually becomes public damage. That's the reality. That all of a sudden it becomes a public negotiation. There's no point, guys, if you're on the market at the moment, and I saw a lovely lady who'd reached out in one of the Facebook community posts and actually just put some information in there to try and assist. But property that had been sitting on the market for quite some time. The truth is that the market says two things when a property's been sitting around for too long. And what does too long look like in this market? And areas vary, but on the Northern Beaches, too long already, believe it or not, is starting to get into week 3 of the campaign. That's too long, and things need to change. You need to relook at your pricing strategy. You need to relook your marketing, and you need to have a listen to what the agent has told you about feedback. What did the buyers say about your property? And is there something there that can be changed? Do they walk in and say it's too dark? Can you lighten it up? Are there things that you can do to change it? And sometimes it's all 3 of what we call the 3 Ps: price, product, promotion. And then, of course, it's, how many times have we heard this, Billy, when we're just starting a campaign and the vendor says, whoa, wait, the guide, it's too low. We need to lift the guide. I'm definitely not accepting offers at around that level. Overpricing a property, guys, is marketing suicide. And I'm not suggesting for a minute we're underquoting. We all understand the rules and regulations around that. But overpricing is marketing suicide.
Yeah, and it can be hard for an agent when they've given a owner a big price in the listing presentation, then they're hesitant to put the price guide online or can't adjust the price guide so drastically. That's where properties, first of all, sit on the market for a long time, or have no price at all. So I think it's really important you're really truthful and honest to the comparisons you've drawn to in your listing presentation, so you've set the owner up with the best information possible from the start.
And, the reality of this is there's no point saying, oh, but my neighbour sold last year in, July for X amount. We're in a very, very different market now. We really are. This is an extremely turbulent market. And I'm saying to my vendors, if you can make that offer work, you should grab it with both hands and run. I've spoken about this over the last couple of weeks. Smart sellers are selling. Smart buyers are buying. If you are selling and buying in the same market, it all works out in the wash. And I've had plenty of vendors at the moment that have said, would have loved a bit more. I'm happy with that. I can make that work. It happened on Friday night. I had a lovely vendor, sold a property off market in Narrowena. He said, listen, I would have loved 100 grand more, but I've also just picked up a property for 100 grand less. All the same. Waiting in this market, guys, can cost you more than actually discounting. Some sellers are waiting 6 months to get an extra 50 grand and then lost $150,000 playing the waiting game. How often do we see that, Billy?
Yeah, and don't mention the countless open homes and the emotional wear and tear it takes on you in the meantime. It's a lot of effort.
It's
as a homeowner.
it's a huge amount of effort. But guys, if you're watching this and you're like, uh-oh, that's me. I've been on the market for 6 months with another agent. It doesn't mean that your property is not saleable. It does not mean that. We've done plenty of cleanups, off the back of stale campaigns. The whole campaign needs to be looked through a microscope. It needs to be pulled apart and it needs to be put back together again in a very different format.
Yeah.
But continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. It's absolute insanity. So understand that playing the waiting game in this kind of market can be extremely dangerous territory. I had a conversation, I'll be honest, yesterday, Billy, with a vendor of mine, an entry-level apartment. And I've seen 2 entry-level apartments in his street that have come on and the price guides are $100,000 lower. And I said to him, listen, we're either going to have to listen to where the market is at. Otherwise, please allow me to put together a rental appraisal for you and then we'll relook things again in 12 months. But waiting, sitting on the market and doing absolutely nothing and changing nothing is not going to change a single thing. It's probably going to get a little bit worse before it gets better.
Yeah, that's it. If you can afford to hold on and you maybe come back in August, September, something like that. We just don't have that crystal ball. So the advice should never be just let it sit on the market. It's okay, well, we can reintroduce the property later, but your agent doesn't have a crystal ball. They're not going to be able to tell you what's going to happen in 2 weeks.
And, like a doctor, like a specialist, as real estate agents, we have to have some very hard conversations with vendors. And if you are a real estate agent, you are watching this, you've got to make sure, guys, that you are keeping your vendors up to date with exactly what you are seeing on the ground at the moment. Everyone is well aware of what is going on in the news. You only need to turn on the news to hear about interest rate rises, and, the cost of living expenses going up and the budget tonight, and the war in the Middle East. There is a hell of a lot to digest at the moment, but properties do sell. They're selling, and buyers are out there. They are buying. But you do definitely need to listen to where the market is at the moment. Waiting in this market, in my opinion, is not going to help you. The golden week is the first week. The second week, things are already starting to taper off. And by the time we're getting into the third and fourth week of a campaign, again, we're talking about the Northern Beaches in Sydney, we're starting to move into very choppy waters.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. If you need some advice, give us a call, reach out. But more often than not, waiting doesn't mean more money, simply put.
Hesitation can be expensive. That's the truth. Guys, we'll be watching with bated breath tonight with the budget. I think most people will be sitting around their TVs at 7:30 tonight. Mark and I were having a laugh this morning, Billy. We were on our morning walk and we were saying, oh my God, if this was us like 20 years ago, I remember my parents sitting around the TV watching the budget, and as kids, we were like, how boring, can we change the channel? Now we're like,
Yeah.
we'll be sitting there on the edge of our chairs watching what's going on. And we'll certainly be breaking it down for you guys as well. I think there's a lot of information there that a lot of people just simply don't understand. So we'll do our best to break it down for you guys and make it nice and simple. But, whatever it will be, it will be. Tomorrow is a brand new day. Life goes on. And, we're a resilient bunch in real estate, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the morning minutes tomorrow will be unpacking it. So tune in here same time.
I think Mark's on with Josh Wapshot tomorrow. We call him, otherwise known as at Novak, the economist. the guy just pulls out all these figures. I don't know where. Honestly, he should have been an economist, or maybe he was in his last life. But they'll be unpacking it tomorrow. Billy, thanks so much. Have a great day, guys.
See ya. Bye.